Yeah, thank you. Thank you for starting with the live streaming of this particular class. Good afternoon to all of you. Anyhow, we are talking with the industrial relationship management and how to manage the industrial relations on the way. Now, in the previous classes already, we have discussed about the various aspects that are relating to the workforce management, industrial relations, how they are to be managed, what is the various aspects that are pertaining to have a good industrial relations aspect, and how better they can be managed. What are the factors, or what is the importance of having the good industrial relations, and what are the consequences of poor industrial relationship, and so on and so forth. And in the block 3, actually, we are going to start with the workforce management and trade unions. What are the functions of trade unions, and so on and so forth. In this, let me start the share screening process in this and management of industrial relationship. That's on share. So I hope you are able to see this one. Yes, please, any one of you. Is it audible? Is it visible to you? Is it visible? Now, the characteristics of industrial relations and objectives, these aspects. Now you can see the application. Right. Concepts and definition of industrial relationship. It is also completed. Parties and the objectives of industrial relationship and how better they are. All these aspects are given to you in the previous session. Then determination of industrial relationship, theories of industrial relationship, and now we are going to talk about unit 3, that is changing profile of major stakeholders in India. What is the changing profile in the major stakeholders in India? Actually, what is the importance of industrial relationship, and what is the role of different parties involved in the industrial relationship? So how better they are going to develop the industrial relationship aspect. So in the process of industrial relationship, because it is employer-employee relationship or employer-employee relations, and at the same time, how better they can be managed between the employees and employees. So there are various stages how they outbroke in the process of having good industrial relationship. Actually, the trade unions play a greater important role in the process of managing the industrial relationship. The very first point here, the trade unions had to pass through very difficult and hostile period in the initial years. So if we know what is exactly the meaning of trade union, that is better before going to what are the stages in that. Actually, what is the trade union? What is trade union? And in this process, a trade union is an association. Just, yeah. Trade union is an association of employees, designed primarily to maintain and improve the conditions of employment of its members. This is given the least. So, in this process, trade union is an association of employees. It is automatically the group of various employees they form into a union and they elect the leader. In this, then on that process, the trade unions will emerge. Primarily to maintain. What is the main purpose of trade union? That is to improve the conditions of employment of its members. Here, the word conditions of employment include salary, working conditions, benefits to the employees, security aspects to the employees, regarding security regarding the working environment, security regarding the employment environment, and so on and so forth. In various dimensions, trade unions will provide the support to the employees, and all these dimensions include the benefits of the employees. Along with that, how to manage the employees also will happen in this. How to manage in the sense how to make the employees feel better while working with the while working in the organization. These are the important elements. Basically, trade union is not coming from anything from outside. It is a part of the employees only. It is emerging out of the employees only. Then main objective is to protect the employees' welfare, protect the employees' interests, protect the employees' welfare benefits, and so on and so forth. Now, let us go back to the previous slide. This is coming to the now. Yes, methods of this. So what is the now? What is the various stages which has developed for the trade unionism? Trade unions they had passed a lot of various stages in the process in the initial years. The employers wanted to crush them with the iron hands. Actually, in the very beginning of the industrialization process, when there is no trade union aspect, employers they used to use the hard measures to control the employees. Sometimes not only termination of employment, it is a very simple logic. They use it to be penalized for the purpose of various mistakes done by them or various ways how to threaten the employees basically. To put the employees to work environment, they used to use hard, fast measures, and finally, the employees used to have a critical or the worst conditions during their employment. Then came the period of agitation and occasional acceptance also. Whenever there is a problem with the employers, the employees they became a group and they started agitating against the various conditions they are facing. When the union gained strength, they started confronting the employer. When agitation started, they became a group. They became a members of the group. Again, they formulated into a group, and with the help of the group, they started agitating against the employer. This period of struggle, which continued for a very long period of time, they put a lot of force on the employer to treat them as human beings. Employers are forced to accommodate, tolerate, and actually hesitatingly accept them also. They are made to accept. Employers are made to accept and made to tolerate the trade unions. Then the came period understanding of industry in collective bargaining process. Once the trade unions became the unionized manner and all the workers put together, they became the union. Then trade unions became stronger and stronger. More amount of people became more amount of workers became the members of the trade unions, and it became mandatory for every worker to member of any of the unions. Actually, there are more than one union. There are more than one union. In that situation, also each employee used to be the member of any one of the trade unions. In this particular process, the collective bargaining process started. So, what the workers require, what the unions desire. In this process, they made it as a collective bargaining. This was followed by the fraternal angle stage, where the unions became mature and employers started consulting them, and so on and so forth. So when the unions became strong, and they are also working for the benefit of the organization. Here, not only to understand from the power of the employees, but the unions started working for the benefit of the whole of the organization. Here, employee is also thinking the benefit of the organization. Employer is also thinking about the benefit of the organization, and then employers realize the importance of the trade unions, and they started consulting with the employees through the trade unions also. Then it became a part and parcel of the organization, and as a result of that, trade unions got a much higher and higher strength. Then the last step is the desired state, that is called as fusion state, in which joint efforts were required to be made by the union management corporation. So finally, at this moment of time, they became a compulsory aspect in the industrial aspect, and union management corporation is became a part and parcel of the management decision making process. Okay, these are the various stages in which the trade unionism came into existence. Then, what are the main characteristics of the employees? Let us go with this. Just before that, let me take a snapshot of that, and then we'll continue. Please, only. So today's date is 18th. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. And then let us proceed with that. What are the various characteristics of the trade union? In this process, actually, as we know very well, trade unions are the voluntary associations which come forward. Yeah. Trade unions are the employers association of the various employees. I hope all of you are able to see this slide. If any problem is there, please let me know. Association of employees. As a matter of fact, trade unions are the various members of the employees. Various employees have become the members, and then it became a group. That is the first part. That no single person can be a trade union leader. Any Anybody can be a leader of the trade union, and it became an association. And trade unions are also registered as per the government norms. And second one is the voluntary association. Second point is that they are the voluntary associations which come forward for the benefit of the employee. Then permanent body trade unions are having total complete body with the various hierarchical levels and various hierarchical levels like secretaries and so on and so forth. And trade unions are having the common interest in that and collective action they are making and rapport with the management. These are the various characteristic natures of the trade union, which is a very, very important question as far as the examination point of view is concerned. What is trade union? What are the characteristics of the trade union? And how the trade union movement came to existence? What are the various stages in that? So on and so forth. As a result of that, now we can understand trade unions are having direct rapport with the management. Whenever there is a problem to the employees, they are coming out. So then objectives of trade union. So in this process, wages or salaries, bargaining for the wages and salaries, whenever there is a high amount of profits, share for the bonus and asking for the share of the bonus and so on. Then working conditions. Every employee should have a better working conditions. They should work in a peaceful environment, not with a threatened environment. So, better providing the better working conditions is also main objective of the trade. What is the working hours? How many hours an employee is working? What is the benefits while working with the organization? What are the other facilities that are given to the employee while working with that particular organization. And all the aspects are covered under this particular aspect. Then coming to the discipline, so trade unions manage the discipline level in the employees. In personal policies like HR policy, personal policy, what are the benefits that are the gratuity benefits, PF benefits, all whether the employees are getting or not, they are also managed by the trade unions. And welfare of the employees, as I told you, the main objective itself is the welfare of the employees. Protect the employees from the undue influences or undue nature of the management and so on. And employee-employer relationships have to be managed properly. Whenever there is a problem or whenever there is a confrontation between the employer and employee, definitely trade unions will come forward and try to solve these issues at the very beginning level. Either the employee or employee, both of them will have a mutual discussion, bargaining process, and then finally they will come to an understanding. These are the various aspects that normally we talk in this particular lesson. And then coming to the last aspect in the unit number this plan, that is problems of the trade union. What are the various problems of the trade union? Of course, even though trade unions are very strong now, but they are having a lot of problems. They are very small in size when compared to the gigantic organization nature. And when employers are having better powerful environment, whereas trade unions are also not having that much of power. And trade unions are very poor in their finances. So when the financial strength is very less when compared to the employer's financial strength. Employees, the organizations or the companies, they will have crores of rupees at their hand. But trade unions are suffering a lot of financial problems only because they are dependent on the membership fees and all. Then politicization, political politicization. Actually, trade unions, when they emerge in a stronger nature, various politicians they came forward to get associated with the union because of the vote bank nature or because of serving nature or whatever the objective there may be. So these people, the politicalization is came into existence. Sometimes trade unions also oppose the political leaders and political leaders also oppose trade unions. In both the way, it has gained a lot of impact. But this became a problem again. And the multiplicity of unions, every single organization in a one organization, there is no one trade union. In one single organization, there are more number of organizations, there are more number of trade unions, and so on and so forth. There is a possibility of rivalry between these two trade unions, and finally, it became advantage to the employer again. So, when more number of trade unions are there, if they work in a coordinated or cooperative environment, that will be good enough. But when they quarrel between themselves, automatically the benefits of the employees they became again lost. So these are the first block in that. Let me stop the share for this particular year. Then I hope you are able to follow. If anyone at least Mahbub, can you reply or can you put a message here? I hope I request most of the students to come and join online. Students are not joining online because we are putting all our efforts, including Ambedkar Ministry, organization team, and we, the being faculty members, we are requesting all the students to come and join in the large number so that it will be a motivating factor for us, right? So, at least. Okay. Next, coming to the another share of screen. Screen is sharing. Already these blocks are completed. The process and all. I hope you are able to see the screen. See, all these concepts we have covered in the previous classes. So these are the elements what I covered right now. Definition of trade unionism. The trade union is a continuous association of wage earners for the purpose of maintaining and improving the conditions of their working lives. So trade union means an association of workers in one or more occupations, an association carried on by the association carried on by mainly for the purpose of protecting and advantages to the members. So then characteristics of trade unions, these points we have covered. Forms of trade unions are also there. That is classical, neoclassical, revolutionary change in the system. These are three forms of trade unions that emerging. And functions of the trade union, that is also another important question, which may come as a short question or as a question in the examination. Militant or protective or intramural functions are there for that. That is protection of high wages, providing more benefits, job security through the collective bargaining and direct action, such as strikes, geraos, etc. And extramural functions are there. The extramural functions include lockouts, extension of medical facility during the sack down and casualties provide education, recreational housing facility, whereas these are all. Then political functions are also there. In the political functions, in the political functions, these include affiliating the union to the political party, helping the political party in the enrolling the members, collecting donations, seeking the help. These are all will come under the trade union functions. Social functions are also there, serving to the society, that is service activities, discharging social responsibility. All these four are coming under the functions of the trade union. Then objectives of the trade unions already we have covered, along with their personal policy, welfare, employer-employee, negotiation machinery, safeguarding organization. These are the. What are the problems of the trade unions? This is what we covered in the PPT right now. That is small size, poor finances, politicization, multiplicity of unions, and measures to strengthen the trade union. What are the measures that we can take? That is, United Labour Front is to be established. Internal leadership is to be encouraged, and membership fees is also to be increased and as amended, and so that the trade unions can have the greater financial benefits. Then Managerial associations, these are some of the concepts that you need to read and understand. And coming to the other important aspect here, that is one. What are the objectives of employers association? Now, till now, we studied about the employees association. That is called trade union. Now, this important concept that is employers association. There is an association for the employers also, which are called as employers union. The right to unionize not to specifically employers also. Employers also, the main function of employers association is to represent the employers in the collective bargaining negotiations. So employees, when they are bargaining with the employers associations also will make representative. Such representation is optimal for the employees under the law and union collective bargaining agreements. So the main objectives of employers associations are here given under. So employers associations are formed to promote and protect the interests of the employers in the trade union. They are formal group of the farmer, it's not farmer, formal group of employers set to defend, represent, advise affiliated employers on this. If one company is facing a problem, it is not able to solve the issues with the mutual talk between the employer and employee. Then in such a case, the other organizations will provide suggestions, provide help also to the employers, and thereby the employers will be able to solve the problems of the employees better. So if they are not able to get a consensus amongst themselves, then third party intervention. In the third party intervention also, the other organizations will definitely come forward come forward and they will help the conflicting parties to come to a conclusion. What are the primary functions of employers association? This is an important topic what you have to understand. So the promote and protect the interests of the employers engaged in that industry, trade and commerce in India. So every industry, say for example, automobile industry, there are so many firms are there. So in the same textile industry, electronic industry, in that different employers are there. If they are facing a lot of problem, then in such a case, promote and protect the employers' interests. Then coming to the office, study and analyze disseminate the information relating to the labor policies, labor management relations, collective bargaining, and so on and so forth. In this process, so wherever the information is available, that will be disseminated to all the employees and liaise with the union government and then initiate the steps that are representative and legislative in nature. So whenever the employers need to talk with the government, they will talk in an association manner, which are so connected. Then finally coming to the secondary functions are the train and develop the staff and members. All the employers associations will put as a pool and finally they will conduct one training program. All the members of the various employees, they will come and use the training benefits and obtain data on the wage and conditions of the work in the industry attached to them. If one company is giving wages, say for example, at what rate they are giving, how much bonus they are giving, at what rate increments are giving, that information can be shared among the various industrial units. Come out with these surveys, research-based reports, and so on. These are the various secondary functions which are very, very important in this. Then governmental action. And so these are the various aspects in this. Industrial relations code is also established by the organization. And with that, we completed the block one. And now we are going to shift our discussion to block two. So in the block two, actually, we are going to talk about union management relationship. In the block two, we will talk about the union and union management relationship. In this process, another three aspects are there in that. Another three aspects are there in this particular block. One is how the trade unions are functioning and what are the industrial disputes and what are the industrial disputes, how to solve them. And these aspects are to be studied in this unit number 5. And what are the employers' organizations? These are also considered in this particular aspect. Now, functions of the trade unions. Already we studied more in the previous class, previous lesson, and this lesson, today's lesson also about the trade union center. As I told you, trade union is a group of members, and in this process, the trade unions are what are the various major trade unions? We all know AITUC, All India Trade Union Congress, INTUC, Indian National Trade Union Congress, and HMS, that is Hind Mazdoor Sabha, and this United Trade Union Congress. These are the various prominent trade unions which are in the which are in the join the trade unionism. This aspect. What are the functions and roles of the trade union? This is the major important question which is associated to this particular block. What are the various functions and the roles of the trade union? Trade unions are the primary functions, as I told you. Just now we discussed about this one. Trade unions are having the primary function. That is, primary function is to manage and mitigate the problems. The primary functions of trade unions to improve the working conditions and living conditions, as what we studied till now, to offer responsive cooperation in improving the levels of the productivity, to secure fair wages of the workers, reach and all, to enlarge the opportunities for promoting and training, to promote identity of the workers in all. I request the students, basically those who are learning online or through YouTube, to come and join in the class so that they can understand what are the important aspects which have to be given more concentration for the purpose of securing good score in the examinations also. So, what are the concepts that we are discussing now? They are said to be. Value addition, new functions are also there. That is, communication is the more important aspect which are there. Communication, that is also an important area. Please let me share the screen once again. Share screen. Just a minute, please. Share the screen, please. Yes, right. Thank you. So this one, industrial relations. These are the various prominent trade unions what already we have come across, functions of the trade union. Some important, this is another important question. Some important provisions of the law that is given to the trade unions in India. In this process, freedom to join and form a union, they are having that right, and freedom of collective bargaining, and right for the purpose of going for the strike and all. So, out of this particular lesson, out of this particular lesson, yeah. So, what are the recent trade union activities in India is another important one. Explain the recent trade union activities in India. There is a change in the attitude of unions towards management and industry, government, and economy. So, in earlier days, trade unions are viewed from the point of view of that they are from the labor union. They always support the labor point of view. They don't come from the management attitude and so on. But this ideology has drastically changed, and labor unions are also given important weightage in decision-making process through workers' participation in the management. Unions are becoming increasingly matured and responsive and realistic in their thinking process. So unions are adapting themselves to the various economic reforms. They are bringing with the reforms and they are able to make with that. And this is about the various aspects that I have come to. And corporate and social responsibility, the roles of trade unions are given in a short span. So then coming to the another important industrial dispute. This out of this question is an important one. So what is industrial dispute? We know actually various aspects relating to industrial dispute. Actually, we feel that industries are more characterized by the dispute nature. But what is the meaning of industrial dispute? When a dispute can be considered as an industrial dispute, and what are the various aspects that have to be understood with relating to the industrial dispute and all? Dispute mainly related to the dispute between the employer and employee, not only between employers and employees, but when it, right, right. So this is employer and employee. An industrial dispute is defined as a conflict or difference in the opinion. Industrial dispute is considered to be a difference between the opinion and management of the workers and regarding their employer. It is a disagreement between the employer and employee. This point you have to understand very clearly. This is not any industrial relationship problem. It is a conflict. Whenever there is a conflict, then only it is considered as a dispute. It is a disagreement between the employer and employee representatives. That is called as trade union. This they end according to section 2 subsection K of Industrial Dispute Act 1947. The term industrial dispute means any dispute or difference between the employers and employers, or between the employers and workmen, or between the workmen and workmen, which is connected with the employment or not employment or non-employment, or the terms of employment and conditions of employment or any other reason. So, industrial dispute need not be between the employer and employee. It may be industrial dispute between the employer and employee. It may be workman and workman, between workman and employee, and so on. Then what is the nature of industrial dispute? There must be a difference in the opinion on a particular dispute. On a specific topic, there must be a difference between the employers, such as wage welfare, where labor is scarce. Then between employers and workmen, such as demarcation of dispute. Then between the workman and worker, the subject matter is concerned with the employment or non-employment or the terms of employment. So it may be disagreement may be with respect to the employment or with respect to the non-employment aspect also, or with the conditions of employment. So the relationship between the employer and workman will be the other important aspect. What are the causes of industrial dispute? This is the main important essay question, which is a part of this particular review. Management's general empathy towards the workers and employees because their contention that they want more and more economic and monetary rewards and want to do less and less work. So this is our main management's general apathetic towards the workers or employees. They are main thing. And mental inertia on the part of both management and labor. So that is also another. Mentally they are fixed to one attitude. And but whereas actual attitude if it is differing, then disputes always will. Lack of proper fixation of wage. in conformity with the cost of living and so reasonable wage security generally. If the employer wants to pay lower and lower wages and it is not on par with the work they are performing or not on par with the cost of living in that particular area, then automatically it leads to the dispute and bad working conditions. If the worker is not having proper working conditions, they feel a lot of problems for that. Like that, a long list is given for that. And political environment of a country also leads to the industrial dispute. A spirit of non-cooperation, general tendency among the employees to criticize or oppose managerial policies, then decisions, then also this. If the trade unions always pointing out or always showing a negative attitude towards the employees, trade union employer decisions, they will always make bad of that. So always they will find fault with the management, and that leads to the problems of the industries. So legal complexities also in the industrial relations machinery and settlement of industrial disputes. Combination of too much of law, too little respect to the law, even also makes it highlights. So these are the consequences of industrial disputes. And what are the various consequences of industrial? When there is an industrial dispute, it leads to it leads to tension in the various parts of the particular organization. It creates a lot of tension, and finally, they can't work in a proper working environment. There is an economic loss due to conflict because if conflict may go to strike or lockout from the point of view of the employers, they may go for the lockout, and employees may go for strike. Then in such a case, productivity will fall down. As a result of that, output will not be there. When output is not there, automatically management will not be able to give proper wages again back to that. Industrial losses may cause economic depression because many industries are interlinked with each other. The problem in one industry may drastically affect the another industry. That is what is happening in nowadays. If one industry is a failure, almost all other industries also will go for the failure. When industrial conflicts get out of hand, they become a threat to the peace and security. Workers may resort to violence and indulge in the sabotage. Sometimes these problems in that particular industry, the problems in that particular area, so that industrial conflict, it may go outbroke as a result of that. It leads to violent aspects also. These are the consequences of industrial use. So, what is the missionary? This is voluntary methods are there. How to solve this particular missionary to prevention of the settlement of industrial disputes? How to settle the industrial dispute? This is figure 5.1. Machinery for prevention and settlement of industrial disputes is clearly laid down in Industrial Dispute Act. That is, voluntary methods are there. So, in the case of that, code of discipline is to be followed, and tripartite machinery, that means asking tripartite agreements, workers' participation in decision making, collective bargaining. These methods always will help for the purpose of reducing the industrial dispute or sometimes solving the industrial dispute also. And government machinery is also there to solve the industrial disputes. So then labor administration, labor councils are there. So what are the various labor councils? There is workers committee, conciliation, voluntary arbitration, and court of inquiry adjudication is also there. So in the course of conciliation, again conciliation officers are appointed and board of conciliations are also appointed. In case of adjudication process, this is a long, lengthy process. So they will first apply to labor court, then industrial tribunals, then finally labor tribunals or national tribunals also will be there in this particular process. So these methods are clearly explained in this process of this one. So I request all the students to go through in this particular line. So whenever how to write the question, what is industrial dispute? What are the causes of industrial dispute? How to manage industrial dispute? So then all these aspects will be a good answer for the question. Then, so that is another important. Types of industrial disputes. This is another important point. What will help you to understand. So the main types of industrial disputes are that is one. First type is generally industrial disputes can be broadly categorized as strikes, lockouts, and picketing, boycotts, get outs, and retrenchment and layoffs. So, but at the same time, ILO, Labor Organization, it has classified the industrial disputes into main two types. First one is interest dispute. What is interest dispute? These are also called as economic disputes. Such types of disputes arise in terms of conditions of employment. Then second one is grievance or right dispute. That this type of grievances arise because of individual disputes. Then protect their right or solve their grievance. These are the other important ones. And then strikes. What is a strike? Strike is also defined by the Industrial Dispute Act. Define a cessation of the work by a body of persons employed in this definition. Already we know that. What are the various causes of strikes? Why the strikes are basically declared by the trade unions and all. Dispute relating to minimum wages, salaries and incentives, increment is not up to the performance, and all these factors will definitely cause to be strikes. And types of strikes are also there. There are different types of strikes which normally we come across, but we don't understand or we don't recognize that this many possibilities are. Stay in, that's all. The strikes occurs. No doubt there is one. Then second one is that strikes are that is sit down, pen down, tool down strikes. These are the primary strike aspects. Then hunger strike. This is already we know that is so strikes in which employees go on fasting nearby the workplace or at the residence of the employer to force him or her address, to redress their grievance. Economic strike. Economic strike is the cessation of the work by the labor with an aim to imposing their economic demands like wages, bonus, etc. And go slow strike, otherwise called as slow down strike. It is one of the which workers do not stop working but slow down the entire process by deliberately delaying the production process and so on. These are various types of strikes. And sympathetic strikes are another one. Prevention of strike is how to prevent the strike. Some of the measures that can be taken care of by this. So progressive HR systems and speedy grievance and redressal system. These are the various important elements. Lockout is also another process from the employer's point of view, and the reasons behind the lockout is given elaborately. Dispute clashes between the workers and management. Unrest is also there, and these are the various important elements that we have to understand. With this, let us conclude the class right now, and we will meet again tomorrow in the afternoon class. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Okay, Mehboob, anyone at least?